Husband pretends not to hear me when he doesn't want to do what I am asking. My husband, 26M, and I, 26F, have been married for almost 7 years. It's been a really rough year and he's been suffering in his mental health and refuses help. I've tried every last thing to make him seek it out and he assures me he's starting to get better. He lost his job in April from COVID and is still looking actively for work. I'm supporting us with a full-time job, while also in full-time school, the primary caregiver to our 2 daughters, 5 and 20 months. And the only one who cooks or cleans, period. To the point here, anytime I say something he doesn't like or doesn't want to hear, he pretends not to hear me. Literally, he just ignores that I spoke any words. Sometimes I honestly feel like I'm losing my mind and maybe I'm not even speaking because he won't even look at me. I've told him how much this bothers me, how we should be able to talk it out, even fighting would be better, and he just ignores me. I ask him if he can try to do some cleaning around the house while I'm at work, no response and no change. I told him my birth control is giving me horrible side effects and I want to try some non-hormonal methods like condoms for a while to give my body a break. How does he feel about that? Acts as if I've said nothing. Tonight I told him I'm feeling very lonely, sad, stressed, and unappreciated for everything. Told him we haven't done anything at all together since we went for a drive for our anniversary back in June, so maybe we could get a sitter and go to dinner this weekend and spend a little time alone together. Says absolutely nothing. I couldn't even help it, I was so frustrated tonight I began to cry when I told him how much it hurts me that he won't even respond to me. I finally heard him respond by groaning and sighing at me like I'm being dramatic. Am I? Is asking for a response from him when he's mentally not in a great place too much to expect? It's been almost a year and I have stood by him and been patient and honestly carried him through this whole pandemic when my own anxiety has never been so bad, but I haven't gotten a turn to have even one bad day since April. I believe in our vows and I know he is sick, but I am so miserable and lonely. He is a good dad, a good friend, a hard-working guy, and when things are good they are quite good, but God, it's been so long since then. I just want some small comfort. I want to get dressed up and feel pretty, for him to get off his phone and actually look at me and talk to me. A night of almost normal. But this ignoring just feels like rejection constantly. I've told him if he isn't happy with me and doesn't feel like he can be again, then he can go. But I'm sure you can guess by now how he responded to that. Is this really an okay thing he's doing? Because it feels really awful. He comments that I'm too sensitive. Is that all this is? Is there something I can do to help him better? Maybe? Thanks for any outside input. I have no real life friends anymore, lol. While also in full-time school, the primary caregiver to our 2 daughters, 5 and 20 months, and the only one who cooks or cleans, period. Do people really put up with this shit? Question mark. My 3-year-old does that. My ex used to do this and it was his get out of jail free card. I would bring up stuff, explain my reasons, wait, he'd say nothing. I would assume he was thinking about it and because he never got back to me that he agreed. Cue a few days later and he would argue that he never agreed to anything. It's a control strategy to avoid dealing with problems. You need to decide how long you want to put up with that. He ignores you when you speak. Ask for help, plead with him. When you're so hurt, because having the one you love ignore you hurts like hell, you start crying, you're a drama queen. No, this isn't you. Unless you are leaving out that you go full-on harpy on him every minute of the day, this is him. I don't know if there is help for him, but unless he makes a move for it, this isn't going to change. If this were me, I would treat him like the roommate he wants to be. No sex, don't do his laundry, cook for your family, he can find his own dinner. Don't pay for extras for him. When he complains, I tell him that's what he is showing he wants. If he wants a relationship again, he needs to work for it. Think about yourself for a week. Get off that birth control and definitely don't have sex with him. Cook for yourself and your children, look after yourself and your children. His behavior is beyond rude and so selfish. My friend, 25F, considers herself a widow after her boyfriend died. Looking for some advice in helping my friend. She is 25F. 2 years ago, her boyfriend passed away. Cause of death was determined to be an overdose, so it was unexpected. They had been dating for about 4 months when he passed, so the relationship was still fresh and exciting and full of potential. She has been in mourning since then. She tells people they were married, and spends a lot of her time in support groups with widows. She quit her job and hasn't worked since then. She also started a podcast about her experience of being a widow. She's really difficult to hang out with because widow is her full personal identity now. It's all she talks about. She hasn't started dating again, and if friends inquire about when she wants to get back on the dating wagon, she answers, "I have a life partner already, it's just that he's dead." I want to be respectful because I know she went through a traumatic event, but I want her to get her life back. I feel like her mulling over it and making it her personality isn't healthy. Am I stepping out of line for wanting to address this with her? Should I just accept her as my friend, the widow, for the rest of our lives? As a side note, I do know she's been going to talk therapy since then, and has done some experimental therapy like hypnosis and the like to try and help too, so she is seeing a professional. I understand your friend has been going to therapy. Yet, this is where things stand. It is either one of two things: your friend is quite mentally ill, or 2, she just plain likes the attention that the widow act gets her, and her therapy is just this outlet where she can indulge her thing. Under either case, you're not going to be able to do much with that. I'd say that you have to either accept that this is how she will be or start putting distance on the relationship. My boyfriend of 6 months passed away from an overdose. This was about 9-ish years back. I was devastated, still am. He was so young and full of life, and I couldn't fathom losing someone so young. He was 17. After we lost him, I fully considered myself a widow. Now, I didn't tell people I was a widow, but I really felt like I lost my life partner. I'm gonna say, it lasted for a few years into my college years. I remember my friends did not think I should have been as upset as I was because we were not together for that long. That sucked. Now, I am thankful today I am able to understand how I was super young and that maybe he was not my forever. But I still get very sad that he lost his life to addiction. I think what your friend may want is validation, because she wants this loss in her relationship to be taken seriously, because to her it is very serious. Grief is a huge bitch, and everyone handles it differently. Her therapist should be taking care of her mentally, and she just needs people in her life to listen. Edit A. I totally understand that there is a difference between being married/sharing a whole life together. But I do want to make the point that some people get married within a week of knowing one another, so time, to me and my personal opinion, is irrelevant. B. I hope Op's friend heals. Whatever is happening with her obviously shows she is hurting deeply. C. Thank you for the award. I hope everyone on this thread has a great day. Oh, and happy MLK Day to stateside friends. That's insane. Your friend is not well. 4 months is not a life partner. This is insane. Also, who is supporting her? Her parents? WTF? She's an adult and is not a danger to herself or others, so there is very little you can do. She's currently in therapy. You could suggest a different therapist, but that doesn't mean she will see a different one. You can continue to be her friend and support her. You can distance yourself from her. You can cut her off completely. In a way, I can somewhat understand her feelings, as I lost my best friend and the love of my life in a car accident. We weren't dating or anything, but my grief was pretty bad. One of my therapists commented that the love I have for my friend was so strong that my grief symptoms were as if I had been widowed. Unfortunately, you have every right to be concerned about your friend. I'm not a therapist, but these behaviors your friends are exhibiting, such as the podcast and the joining the support groups, sound more like she's seeking attention. The bad news for you is that she's unlikely to listen to anything you have to say in regards to her behavior. Bringing her a harsh dose of reality will most likely cause her to stop talking to you. I think the best piece of advice I have is this: ask her what she needs from you and listen. Get her to open up to you. This will take time and will test your patience. When you feel like she's finally opened up to you, then you can gently bring up your concerns. The other thing I'll suggest is keeping an eye on her, and if you feel she's a threat to herself/others, don't hesitate to call for help. Might break up because of a box of tissues. I don't want this to be too long, but I should give a little background. Me, 25 meters, and my girlfriend, 24F, have been together for 2 years and she moved in with me in July. She has a regular 9 to 5 job and works 30 to 40 hours a week, and is off on the weekends. I am not working right now, but I am still the one who pays our bills. In 2018 to 2019 I had a lot of success with my own business before COVID hit, and thankfully have been comfortable with what I have saved to deal with the pandemic while unemployed. She does pay me back here and there when she can, but because of her insanely high car payment, insurance, etc., she is broke. So I pay our rent and bills and she pays me back a bit when she has extra. I have never had a problem with this arrangement, and because I feel useless sitting at home all day and unable to run my business, I figure the least I can do is make sure the apartment is spotless every day. Also, so that she doesn't have to have any extra to do when she gets off work, I take care of all chores. For the last week I have been very sick. Sinus infection, not COVID thankfully. I got tested, it hit me pretty hard on Friday and I was hoping that she would help out around the house with dishes, garbage, laundry, etc. But nothing. I still did it all while coughing my lungs out while she was on the couch on TikTok. She likes to laze around on the weekends because she's tired from working during the week, so I didn't say anything or complain. I don't need to be taken care of, but it would have been nice to have her maybe show some concern, or ask me if I was okay or needed something. When she got sick last month I did everything I could think to make sure she didn't have to leave bed and could rest. Made soup, grocery store runs for medicine, all that good stuff. She didn't, but it's okay, I didn't complain. I can take care of myself. On Saturday, it was getting late and I asked if she could go to 7-Eleven to get me some cough drops because my cough is keeping me from sleeping and it was getting really late and was freezing outside. I really didn't want to go out. 7-Eleven is literally a 2-minute walk from our apartment, it's next door. She said okay after I finish this. She was doing an art puzzle and watching a movie. An hour goes by and I ask if she is going and tell her that it's not a big deal and I can just go myself, but it's getting late and I need to get some sleep. She said I was just about to go. I'm almost done. Another half hour goes by and I just get my keys and go while she says babe don't, I was just about to go. Right when I get in my car she texts me, can you get me cigarettes? I'm out. Felt pretty rude, but I said okay and bought them for her. She didn't pay me back. All of these things had been bugging me and then this happened tonight. I ran out of tissues, went through 2 boxes and was using toilet paper which was making my nose raw. I told her I was out and asked if we had more tissues. She said no. After a few minutes, and me coughing and blowing my nose more, I asked her if she can pick up tissues for me and I'll pay her back. She said it's getting pretty late. I said please. The toilet paper sucks, I really need tissues. This is the part that I couldn't believe. After a long pause she said okay, honestly I do have tissues, you can use them. I said why didn't you tell me before? When you saw I was using toilet paper or when I asked if you had any? Because you've been going through a lot and I didn't want you to use them all cause I use them too. I was completely dumbfounded. Not only that she lied to me when I asked if we had any, but that her first reaction wasn't to instantly offer me tissues when she knows how sick I've been and that I've been suffering with using toilet paper. This coupled with how little concern or help she showed while I was sick really made me look at her differently. I just couldn't believe she lied about something that would help me and was considering hiding her tissues from me while I was sick. Edit. Okay, I was using this to just rant at first, but the comments have made me realize this isn't okay. I'm going to talk to her when she gets home from work tomorrow. Update. So I just talked to her. I said everything I needed to say, most of the things in the post even though I forgot some stuff in the moment. I told her how I felt like she let me down and that I was hurt that she didn't show any concern or initiative to do anything at all for me while I was sick. It did not go well. I was a few sentences in when she started to try and argue that she did things and I told her to stop and said that she needed to listen to me and let me finish. So I told her everything and when I was done she didn't say anything. We both sat in silence for a minute. Could tell she was starting to tear up after a minute or two, then she went outside to smoke a cigarette. When she came back in she walked past me and said I'm going to bed. I was blown away that she had nothing to say. I followed her to the room and basically asked if she had nothing to say to me, and she said, "What do you want me to say? I'm sorry that you feel that way. You guys were right. I've been trying to convince myself otherwise for the last few months, but she just doesn't care about me." This post is very far from the first time I have felt this way. This was just the final straw. I even tried to get a few words out of her after she said that last part, and it was getting humiliating to almost beg someone to recognize how much they hurt you. She wouldn't give in even a bit. She never does if I'm hurt. I am not an emotional man, but I know my feelings matter about this. I am breaking up with her.